The fact that Ai Xiaolu had decided to look for a solution let Wang Zheng sigh in relief. He knew that this matter would not be resolved in a day. Even if a solution was found, it would probably be a complicated and wide operation. And this was not something that he, or even Yi Zisu, could participate in. They could only wait for the Ai Financial Group to find the answer. The most important thing was not money, but his own personal worth. Alright, big financial groups had a unique way of thinking. Besides, Ai Xiaolu had pointed out something else, that Lear had come over soliciting in Wang Zheng's absence. She felt that the solar system only needed one leader. As an outsider, everyone saw the solar system as full of internal strife. The key was that the solar system loved to fight too much. Only when an absolute leader emerged in the solar system would they become the strongest. This meant that the solar system was like arbiter. What they needed was consolidated authority, not democracy. Ai Xiaolu did not spend too many words on that topic, but simply pointed out the current situation of Saruman Snake. Lear was conducting a resistance against Wang Zheng. When Wang Zheng was in front fighting and earning glory, Lear would use it as well. In Ai Xiaolu's words, Lear's character was destined for greatness, but as an opponent, he was a dangerous fellow. A barking dog never bit. A two-faced Lear was the most dangerous one. And this guy belonged to the Black Tortoise region, and was difficult to read. Lear had crossed paths with Ai Xiaolu as well, but quickly gave up. They were all-knowing people. The moment they met, Lear knew that his tricks would not work, and might even expose himself. What Ai Xiaolu meant was that Wang Zheng should teach Lear a lesson, and it'd be best if it was a mental one. How to teach Lear a lesson was a difficult question. Clearly, Wang Zheng could not seek out Lear and say, "Let's go one-on-one." Lear had 1,000 reasons to say no, and could even think of a way to sully Wang Zheng's reputation with it, such as bullying his own countrymen, that he was obsessed, etc. Lear was even more difficult to deal with than the rowdy type. But Wang Zheng was no goody two-shoes either. Dirty tricks had to be paid in kind. Snowly had not left the battle team. This was something that Wang Zheng did not want to bring up. Training had been normal since Wang Zheng's return, and Achilles did not seem to have changed. There was no need for Wang Zheng to say anything. Zhang Shan's improvement was apparent, and this spurred the rest to greater efforts. Ollie was participating in the formation now. As for Ollie and Olivius, this was an arbiter line of thought that outsiders would not understand. As for the way arbiters saw love, that was ridiculous. The runic mech's performance was excellent, but he had not had the time to ask Butcher since his return. The base incident investigation was still ongoing. Although, this did not concern Wang Zheng anymore. Butcher wanted Wang Zheng to focus on his training and studies, and Wang Zheng's profile gained another record. Although this was not as spectacular a performance as with Hail Cloud Alliance, his overall performance was recognized by the school. Wang Zheng mandated a break on the weekend, hoping that everyone would take the time to relax. Bearing the burden of their undefeated record in the first round, Saruman Snake battle team's mood was a little heavy. Rigorous training was a good thing, but overdoing it was not. Especially Vincent. In order to master the true dual wielding of Golden Wheel Battle King, he had tried too hard. In the last 2 days of training, he occasionally rubbed his wrist. If this continued, he might very well sustain injuries from too much training. Vincent's face tightened. Rest? Besides training, what else was there for him? But Wang Zheng's decision was sound. He would calm himself, and review his training footage in this period. Perhaps some reflection would be more effective than just grinding blindly. After seeing the results of Zhang Shan's special training, Vincent's conviction in Wang Zheng's judgment had grown further. Since it was a break, everyone was relaxed. Takumi was the happiest. Finally, there was time to date. In terms of managing himself, Takumi did it very well, and was stable. Of course, as a member of Big Bear Star, he was not facing that much pressure. On the way back to the dormitory, Zhang Shan was browsing his notifications on the Skylink, and grabbed a hold of Wang Zheng. "Wang Zheng, let's go play tomorrow. I got to know a babe from Outer Roland. We're having a get-together tomorrow. I'm supposed to bring a few Elite Academy students, the more the merrier." Zhang Shan said. Actually, he felt that Wang Zheng was the one who needed to let loose the most in the battle team. Wang Zheng could not be left to hang himself over the Aina tree. One must enjoy life's pleasures to the limits. Rabbits did not just graze on the grass beside their nests. But perhaps the grass over at Outer Roland could be sampled. Wang Jung should be more open-minded. Get together. Wang Jung smiled. Cool. A good chance for me to clear my head. What kind of people are they? Are they fun? Remember the last time I asked you for an emergency authorization? There's a scientific interest group in Outer Roland that is holding a get-together. The event seems interesting enough, and we can go there and relax. And the girls are big fans of Elite Academy, we can hold our heads high there. Zhang Shan was rather friendly with some of the group, especially Zuxi, who was very passionate. But Zhang Shan preferred to talk to the reserved, prim and proper Yu. She had been the one to pull him in at the beginning. Zhang Shan was not as busy as Wang Jung. He had not met anyone suitable till date either, and since he had no fixed plans, then he would enjoy love where he found it. But as a brother, he felt that Wang Jung was too wound up. Men needed to relax a little, at least. They should meet some new friends and do something new once in a while to forget their worries. Zuxi had suggested on occasion for Zhang Shan to bring a few more Elite Academy X students to join their activities. In Roland Garros, many students were keenly interested in Elite Academy. Even now that Inner Roland was in the spotlight, it was still rather enigmatic, and outsiders were prohibited from access. The next day, Zhang Shan looked at Luo and Luo looked at Zhang Shan. Luo, do you really want to come? Practice is an important part of learning social relations. Don't worry, I won't interfere in your flirtings. Luo blinked her wide eyes. Zhang Shan had called Luo, but had not thought that she would really come. Wang Jung had called Ai Xiaolu. Being with Ai Xiaolu was not that burdensome, and Ai Xiaolu had also wanted to let loose a little. Ai Xiaolu had driven up, and Wang Jung and Zhang Shan were both relegated to the backseat. Luo and Ai Xiaolu chatted and laughed. Clearly, the two were not very close with each other, but familiar about the other. All that could be said was that the universe was a big place to Wang Jung and Zhang Shan, and a small world to these girls. Their class was about the same, and there was not much of a political stand. Both girls easily hit it off. To Ai Xiaolu, if it was not for the Aslan princess system, it would be better. And Luo agreed on this point. Girls were like that. Once they established common ground, it was easy to become best friends. To Luo, she was happy that Wang Jung had not brought Lai Xin. Lai Xin's personality would clash with Luo's. Wang Jung and Zhang Shan were in the backseat, listening to the girls talk. They could not even get a word in, and were relegated to playing on their skylinks. Coming out, even just to breathe the air, felt good. The gathering place was not bad. It was in the suburbs. A bendy river, and a fine river bank. On the side, all kinds of sport facilities, tennis, basketball, baseball, all were professional level grounds. Although Wang Jung and Zhang Shan could see that everything was man-made, who cared? The weather was great, and the sound of students fighting over the ball drifted towards them, as though their mood had become one with the fair weather. Zhang Shan. Zuxi dragged Yu over enthusiastically. She was happy to see that Zhang Shan had brought others too. But a beauty and a Gemini star petite loli, what was going on? Kiki, let me introduce you. This is our Saruman Snake Battle Team's captain, Wang Jung. I guess I don't need to say more. This is Senior Ai Xiaolu and Luo. Zhang Shan smilingly made the introductions. This is Yu, who aspires to be the next teacher Xiao Fei. This is Zuxi, who just wants to live a happy life, right? My dream is to find a handsome boyfriend. Really? That's only too easy, Zhang Shan teased. Perhaps they had become too familiar over Skylink chat. Everyone laughed and chatted for a while, warming up to each other quickly. At this time, others had come over to greet them as well. Seeing Ai Xiaolu and Luo, they showed startled expressions and were very warm. Ai Xiaolu's clothes today were clearly influenced by Wang Jung. From head to toe, there was not a single dazzling object. Everything was ordinary, and that made her easier to become close to today. This was the ultimate peer influence. As for Luo, an ordinary tracksuit could not hide her eye-catching, petite figure. Combined with that light voice, it was a classic frail girl. One look, and you wanted to catch her for a lifetime. Truly a model example of the lowly star. Of course, they were even more enthusiastic, because Elite Academy X. Although everyone had heard of Inner Roland and Elite Academy X, to actually come in contact was rare. This get-together was relaxed, and their numbers grew. Many invited people had come, even many that Zuxi and the rest did not know. The goal of the gathering was to make some new friends, and provide an equal platform for youngsters to mingle. Activities quickly got underway. A barbecue started on the riverbank. A large wagon drove up, serving all kinds of beverages. Many had linked up to play some small resistance games. Some played cards, or chess. No one was forced into any activity. It was completely based on your interests. Those that liked sports could go to the ball courts on the side. It did not matter if you did not know anybody, you could bond through the game. Wang Jung and the rest naturally chose sports. They wanted to play tennis, but it was packed with hobbyists. Many teams were queuing for their turn to enter the courts. In truth, Elite Academy X was a special school, and the other college students were happy and enjoying the company. University was the best time for romance. Studies was just one part of it, but Elite Academy X students did not have much free time, and seemed pitiful. How about basketball? The turnover is fast, 3 baskets and you're out. We can get cycled in very fast. Luo suggested. Everyone's eyes went wide. If you looked at height, Luo was digging her own grave. But in the end they went. The rules were half court, 3 version 3. They were all youngsters. Just a shout of greeting, and they had acceptance to enter. 3 baskets indeed passed quickly. Before too long, Wang Jung and the rest were up. Just as Ai Xiaolu was about to go on with Wang Jung and Zhang Shan, Luo was standing in the way. Hold up. My suggestion, I get to go first, but the opponents were all 1.9 meters louts. I want to prove that Gemini Star people can also play basketball, Luo was adamant. Wow. 2 babes on court. With babes, the atmosphere at the basketball court was a little rowdy, although the catcalls were good-natured and appreciative. In the end, Zhang Shan caved into heavy pressure and relinquished his first spot. He accompanied Yu and Zuxi to the stands. Their opponents were a little hesitant. Watching babes play ball was a blessed thing, but with them as your opponents, it was a completely different feeling. You can start. The ball was given to Wang Jung. Wang Jung smiled, and passed the ball to Ai Xiaolu. Ai Xiaolu was a fighting type. As for fighting type people, a sport like basketball was nothing at all. But Luo was indeed an outsider. For the opponent to be able to hold their position, they were clearly good at basketball, especially with the advantage of height. The most agile one darted towards Ai Xiaolu. They were playing it pretty serious. It was just play. Ai Xiaolu would not take it so seriously, she passed it to Luo. The big guy guarding Luo smiled, and stretched out his long limbs, pressuring forward like a wolf stalking a rabbit. Luo took the shot without hesitation, but the basketball was not flying towards the rim, but towards the big guy's face. Ping! The big guy's reaction was quick. With a duck, he dodged the attack. Wait, why was it an attack? Wasn't this basketball? Looking back, he saw Wang Jung take the errant ball, and with an accurate shot, sink the basket. Why did you not press? I was distracted. The guy assigned to mark Wang Jung scratched his head. He did follow, but suddenly the opponent had eluded him. Wang Jung, my pass was sweet, right? Luo smiled happily. Wang Jung was sweating. That was a pass. Very quickly, they finished off their opponents. Another team came, and Wang Jung slowed down the pace, playing less seriously. They had to give others a chance. Very quickly, the opponents scored 3 points, sending Wang Jung and his team out. Luo frowned. She took a basketball on the side to practice dribbling. The moment Wang Jung took it easy, she became an easy mark. The moment she was pressed, she could not dribble past. But even when no one was marking her, the ball flew fast and high. Zhang Shan rubbed his forehead. They should have gone to the baseball field to play with the serving machine. Within Luo's diminutive frame was an energetic monster. Ah! Who threw that ball? With a pitiful cry, Luo's flying pass had hit someone far away. It hit the person square in the chest, on a snow-white shirt, leaving a huge ball print. In an instant, the basketball court was silent. The handsome guy rushed over angrily. He had come here to show off and find some pleasure. Who would have thought that the moment he arrived, he would be hit by a basketball? His pristine clothes were now ruined, and his ego shattered, and it hurt. Wang Jung immediately went over. "Brother, we're so sorry. My friend is just starting to learn basketball, and the hand slipped. I'm so sorry." Luo immediately went over as well. Their dashing white clothes were indeed dirtied. "Sorry, I'm so sorry." "Sorry, is there a use for that? What can you do to make reparations? Let me tell you, nothing. All you can do is make me angrier. If sorry had a use, why would we even need the police? A shorty like you playing basketball, I'm not belittling you, but let's just see how you feel after I smash you." Wang Jung was stirred now. A flash of anger passed his eyes, and he smiled. "Brother, what do you want?" Wei Yongcheng wanted to continue scolding, when he suddenly noticed Luo more clearly. Suddenly, he smiled. "Forget it, it's fine. To be hit by a babe, that's just a sign of affection and love, right? Haha." Wang Jung was bemused as well. He could not be bothered to settle the score. This was probably some rich playboy, here to flirt with the girls. After the commotion, the interest in basketball died. They returned to the riverbank, and found a place to eat and soak up the sun. "Who was that just now, with that arrogant attitude?" Luo asked curiously. "Wei Yongcheng. Velo Group's heir. The family business is huge, and full of influence on Roland Garros, and even within the Milky Way. Very influential. Lucky that incident didn't blow up just now," Zuxi said, wiping the sweat off her brow. "That guy is a classic playboy. Did you see those in the car who did not come out, lawyers and bodyguards? TCH, is that scum here for the sports or to show off? He's asking to be beaten up." Luo and Ai Xiaolu both did not know whether to laugh or cry. Very famous, neither had heard of him before, but given their status, neither was in the habit of showing off. Just as everyone was enjoying themselves, they saw Wei Yongcheng come over with his entourage. "I did not know that you were gifted students from the Elite Academy X, although we met thanks to that quarrel. I hope no offense was taken." Wei Yongcheng had spotted two exceptional beauties, Ai Xiaolu and Luo, and his itch had started. He had been paying attention to them, and when he heard Elite Academy X, his interest was heightened. No wonder these two were on a different level from the girls he had chased in the past. Their level was high. He had not tasted Elite Academy X's flavor before. Wang Jung smiled. These words were innocuous enough, but given Wei Yongcheng's attitude, he seemed to have another axe to grind. In truth, Wang Jung was not too enthusiastic to deal with such characters. It was a rare opportunity for them to come out, and everyone just wanted to enjoy comforts peacefully. Ai Xiaolu and Luo did not want to deal with it either. They had seen too many of such types, and the incident had already passed. "Brother Wei, are you serious? Elite Academy X students coming here? They wouldn't be fakes, would they? Show some proof," Wei Yongcheng's lackey suddenly said. Their disbelief was apparent. As expected, the bodyguards moved smoothly into position as well. Their mission was to demonstrate the power of their boss. On Wang Jung's side, the science interest group people were fuming with a silent anger they did not dare to voice. That bunch of bodyguards were too intimidating, and they were all normal students. Someone wanted to say something, but he was pulled aside by a friend. A wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. Wei Yongcheng followed up with a hearty laugh. "That's right. Are they really from Elite Academy X? It's all their own claims. But whether it is true remains to be seen. But I don't think that anybody would dare to be Elite Academy X imposters, right? Any proof to distinguish yourselves?" Zhang Shan was incensed. "Brothers, if y'all are so butthurt, you can go swimming. Or jump off a building. Just don't disturb us, okay?" Little B asterisk starred. "How dare you talk to our brother Wei like this? Looking to die?" The lackeys were unhappy now. Zhang Shan could not help laughing. "Oh, brother Wei, is it? Sorry. Zhang Shan was raring to start, but Wang Jung still caught a hold of him. "We can overlook it up till this point. We don't want to be disturbed. Thank you. See yourself out." Perhaps because of all the repressed anger, and that many things had been happening recently, Anger was actually flaring in Wang Zheng's heart. But under normal circumstances, Wang Zheng was not willing to settle scores with ordinary people. Kiki, I can leave. Wei Yongcheng sneered. He had enough of their nonsense too. But those two girls go with me. Relax, following me is not a bad thing. Definitely better than muddling around with this bunch of dicks. Follow brother, and brother will show you the meaning of high class. The more Wei Yongcheng looked at Ai Xiaolu and Luo Er, the more he itched. One was elegant and nubile, the other a classy lowly. Picturing them together, it was not an image that should be shared. Wang Zheng turned to look at him, and could not resist laughing. Some people really would not give up. Second chances were wasted on this guy. Kiki, what's so funny? Wei Yongcheng was also someone who had never been bested since young. He had not sensed the danger in Wang Zheng's smile. Ai Xiaolu suddenly smiled, and the smile was especially sweet. Ai Xiaolu was the real aristocrat beauty. Her entire body was free of blemishes. Although her clothes today were plain and simple, her class could not be matched. If you want us to go with you, sure, as long as he doesn't interfere. Wang Zheng knew that things were going to turn ugly now. Ai Xiaolu, that little. You got an opinion on that, kid? If you do, you can stay, or you can lie down and go home. Wei Yongcheng guffawed. But he was no fool either. He moved back with practiced discretion. The flanking bodyguards slowly crowded forward. Wang Zheng shook his head irritably. All right, I'm done with you all. Scram before I get angry. A few of the bodyguards struck out with coordination. The other students were scared out of their wits, but before Wang Zheng made his move, Zhang Shan had sprung into action. Damn, he had been holding back for too long. In a thrice, the bodyguards were all prone on the floor. Of course, with Wei Yongcheng, Zhang Shan took special pains to pay attention to his face. From that day onwards, a certain brother Wei had a few teeth missing. Stop it. Do you know who he is, you bastards, to actually ignore the alliance laws? Unscrupulous behavior. You will pay for what's happened here today. The lawyers that Wei Yongcheng had brought were working themselves into a fury, bellowing loudly. One had to admire his lawyering skills. His voice was bright and clear, and would definitely be charismatic in the courtroom. But this time around, his efforts were directed in the wrong place. Just as Zhang Shan was considering if he should follow up, the decision had now been made for him. Without hesitation or mercy, he punched out, left and right, delivering two beautiful black eyes. One had to show a small example as a deterrent. He hated these puffed-up birds. You all. If you have the guts, you better kill me. If I survive, I'll definitely pay you back double. You two will be kneeling in front of me. Licking. Wei Yongcheng hollered, but was cut off by a sharp slap from Zhang Shan. Two more teeth fell. Zuxi and the rest were watching with satisfaction. A guy like Wei Yongcheng really needed a taste of his own medicine. But they were still worried. After all, Wei Yongcheng's household was influential in Roland Garros. Even the strong were hard-pressed to deal with local mafia. No matter how strong Wang Zheng and the rest were, they were still students after all. Zhang Shan, you all had better leave quickly. There will be trouble when the police arrives. Yu tugged on Zhang Shan. Leave, that was righteous defense. They started it. If you don't teach their type a lesson, who knows what they'll do next time, Zhang Shan said. Wang Zheng grinned as well. It's all right now, Lady Ai, how shall we proceed? Ai Xiaolu smiled. We're done. Zhang Shan, let him make the move next time. It's better if I do. I fight with more discretion than he does, Zhang Shan said, irritated. If it had been Wang Zheng, these people would be losing limbs by now. Honestly, Zhang Shan had not just fought to show off. The killing intent emanating off Wang Zheng was getting stronger and stronger. Ai Xiaolu smiled. Right, you, what company did you say Wei Yongcheng's family run? Velos Group, mainly business, that's enough. Ai Xiaolu waved it off, then took out her Skylink. Ate, Roland Garros Velos Group. Do you know them? Purchase? No, destroy them. Make it a burden asset, thoroughly, you do it. Take it as a harvesting training for this year. Put some effort in, I'll look at the results. You and the rest were stunned. What did this mean? In 3 days, the company will disappear. Ai Xiaolu's smile was very sweet, as though speaking of insignificant matters. To make the Velos group, which had rock-solid ties in Roland Garros, into a burdensome asset, wasn't that too exaggerated? Wang Zheng and Zhang Shan obviously did not doubt it. Ai Financial Group could do such things. Decisively cruel. Ai Xiaolu's move was the most terrifying. The other students were in disbelief, but Ai Xiaolu had no need to explain. The police had arrived. Clearly the guy had some clout. You are all dead meat. My uncle is the chief investigator of the police, Wei Yongcheng hollered. He was especially malevolent. Clearly, he thought that Ai Xiaolu was just bragging. Not the police. God, they're the OPI. Roland Garros Intelligence Department. They were mostly in charge of national security. With practiced efficiency, they dragged Wei Yongcheng and his gang away like a bunch of dead dogs. No one spoke in the entire process. Ai Xiaolu looked at Luo. Luo must have had dedicated protection nearby. Some of the bodyguards had fired their guns just now, which must have been deemed as a threat to Luo's safety. They were about to pay for their sins. In this day and age, for someone to dare to raise a fuss in front of the Alliance Council chairman's daughter was quite something. Yu and the rest could not seem to process what was happening. All the while, they had thought that Elite Academy X was a place where people of special fighting abilities congregated. In layman terms, they were young, elite soldiers. But seeing Ai Xiaolu and Luo, they realized that this understanding was completely off. Who are you people? We're friends. Although I'm from Gemini Star, I'm half Roland Garros as well. When I see hooligans, I must report them. See, our efficiency is something else. Luo smiled. Report? Who could call the police, but have the intelligence department show up? But the bit of scuffle was nothing new to Elite Academy X. After the bother had been chased away, they could enjoy themselves. Elite Academy X was different from other colleges because such low-level braggarts were non-existent. Ai Xiaolu and Luo were feeling playful, which was why they had shown their cards. But Yu and the rest were indeed shocked. They were exceptionally delighted at Zhang Shan's mysterious guests. Clearly, everyone was willing to be friends with the Miss Perfects. On the way back to school, Ai Xiaolu and Luo walked together, speaking one-on-one. Ai Xiaolu wanted to have a feel for Luo's attitude. Wang Zheng had told her before that he was asking Luo for help as well. After all, the chairman's daughter would have unmatched intelligence on the situation. At the very least, she could learn of the Milky Way Alliance's view on the matter. And Ai Xiaolu knew that Luo thought well of Wang Zheng. This good feeling would help matters along quite a bit. You know about Wang Zheng's problem as well? Luo asked. She obviously knew that Ai Xiaolu was managing Saruman Snake battle team. Many people had seen Saruman Snake's successful transformation as in no small part due to Ai Xiaolu's efforts. This had made many Hail Cloud Alliance students unhappy. After all, Ice Fire battle team's results were not as good. Wang Zheng and I are good friends. Many of his friends are on Tita Star and, actually, his wealth is all invested on Tita Star. Ai Xiaolu twinkled. Luo laughed lightly, starting up the shuttle. She could not drive too fast. This was no mech, but she did enjoy the feeling of being free in the air. Are you going to help him? Luo suddenly asked, smiling. Ai Xiaolu was taken aback. Looking at this petite Gemini Star girl, she suddenly realized that she had committed a grave error. As the chairman's daughter, and also a specialist in social systems, her IQ and EQ must both be out of this world. I am. Ai Xiaolu had no need to deceive her. Besides, the council's stance was important in such an endeavor. Luo smiled slightly. I can see that you're concerned for Wang Zheng. Given the rules of the Ai family, what you're doing may be overboard. Kiki, for me to do this, it must pass the family. From a business perspective, I've invested in Wang Zheng as a person. I favor him. Oh, is that right? There are tons of talent in Elite Academy X, and you've invested in the most risky one, Luo said. Ai Xiaolu was suddenly calm. This was the real Luo. People were often taken in by the appearances of Gemini Star people, but these appearances meant nothing to Gemini Star people. She looked like a lowly, but in truth, Luo was very mature. High risk, high reward, and, what's your reason for helping Wang Zheng? Don't tell me that you like him, Ai Xiaolu said. Luo flashed a brilliant smile. Don't be so stodgy. Wang Zheng is not exactly my cup of tea. But he has a very alluring quality. Go ahead and guess. If you're right, I don't mind giving you a boost on this. Ai Xiaolu knew that Luo was testing her. What was Luo referring to? If I Financial Group was the stereotypical corporate family, then Luo was the stereotypical political family, and she had made it to the pinnacle of the Milky Way. What did political families value? Bravery, strength, potential. None of these were of primary importance. Suddenly, Ai Xiaolu smiled, and opened her mouth. Luo smiled in response, nodding. Even so, I think it's still insufficient, Ai Xiaolu said. You've answered correctly. That's why I chose to say nothing. This matter coincides with the council's interests. Besides, I might take a hand as well. Take it as my branching out from politics. Luo laughed. If Wang Zheng was here, he would definitely be rendered speechless. The angle from which they saw the problem was completely different, as a result of their upbringing. In the stable era of the vast interstellar, the rulers of humanity had always been the descendants of the family. Excellent genes, excellent education, excellent resources dedicated for nurturing. This had built a dominating tier which new blood struggled to break out of. Many were assimilated. There is indeed some difficulty to this. If it succeeds, this should be a real feather in your cap. That's why, classmate Xiaolu, we both acknowledge the need for cooperation. Let's help Wang Zheng get ahead, Luo said. Both girls gave a knowing smile. Although they got along well with their peers, their upbringing was very different. They were not destined for a simple life. But they concealed it well, until they met one of their like. Ai Xiaolu had first discovered Wang Zheng as a target. Although Luo had originally taken note of him, she had not held any special interest. Until the Gemini star trip, when Butcher's attitude and Wang Zheng's performance had shown her that he was more than the rumors, he was more impressive than expected. As for liking him, it was true that she held affection for him. Anything deeper than that would require more careful consideration. With Luo's help, Ai Xiaolu suddenly felt the pressure alleviated. But still, this matter would be one of the hardest things that Ai Xiaolu would take on to date. More tangibly, how this matter would turn out, and the difficulty, would still depend on the main player, the bigger country in the shadows. And as for who it was, and where the final bottom line was, these had to be found out. It was extremely dangerous for Ai Financial Group to intervene in this. This risk could very well set the family back, and the lifeline of Luo was a helpful push. Ai Xiaolu kneaded her forehead. That punk Wang Zheng had indeed set her a tough nut to crack. But only such difficult tasks could arouse her interest. Wang Zheng had maintained communications with Tita Star as well. Things had been relatively peaceful recently, and no arms were used. Many of the business groups also could not ignore their previous investments, and a semblance of peace had been restored. But they dared not to let their guard down. Mu Sen and Lan Ling hoped for Wang Zheng to return. To return, Wang Zheng deemed it necessary as well. At this time, he should be facing it all together with Rara Darai, even if it was war. As for external matters, he could only depend on Ai Xiaolu. The second round of the Greatest King battle was about to start. Rumors flew that the big battle teams had supplemented their lineups, with some making radical changes. Saruman's snake battle team was facing trouble. Once Snowly left, they would be in a tough spot. But compared to the battle team matters, the Tita people's situation was more pressing. Before leaving, Wang Zheng felt that he should give Lear a present. Wang Zheng arrived at the place that he and Lai Xin had arranged to meet. Lai Xin was lounging around drinking coffee, giving Wang Zheng a burning look that he wasn't sure was a smile. What's up? Lai Xin was as straightforward as usual. Her beautiful, long legs were splayed all over, and Wang Zheng was not sure where to look. I want you to join Saruman's snake battle team. Wang Zheng did not beat around the bush either. Lai Xin laughed. Why? I need to go to Tita Star. You know the situation as well. In my absence, Achilles alone won't do. We need you, Wang Zheng said frankly. And why should I agree? Lai Xin looked at Wang Zheng, smiling cheekily. Wang Zheng looked at Lai Xin. I feel like you've come to peace with your inner demons. And you're not satisfied with Lear. Why not join us? We'll celebrate in victory and mourn in defeat. We'll live to the fullest. Lai Xin sized Wang Jun up. You're trying to poach Lear's strength. I heard that Lear came to look for Achilles before. To not reply to that move would be discourteous. Wang Jun shrugged. You know that's not the point. I don't know if I can come back alive from this trip to Tita Star. Please look after Zhang Shan. Achilles is calm and will look at the big picture, but sometimes he's too passionless. Lai Xin did not know how to reject the man in front of her. She knew about the Tita Star situation. That was a sea of murky trouble. It was rumored that many agents had already infiltrated it. It looked peaceful, but was already in chaos. Even back then, it had attracted an Earth-rank killer. Who knew what else would emerge this time around? You could choose not to go, Lai Xin suddenly said. Wang Jun laughed. Thank you. Those words mean that I hold you as a friend not in vain. I don't want to be your friend. I'll agree to this, but I only want to celebrate in victory. As for Zhang Shan, that boy isn't as frail as you think, and come back alive. Lai Xin found that she was really helpless in front of Wang Jun. After separating from Lai Xin, Wang Jun went to find Butcher. On this matter, he might still need Butcher to talk to the school authorities. Of course, regardless of their answer, he was going. Butcher had a headache. Those two B** stars had vanished into thin air, and not a single jot of news was to be had. The numerical data recovery from the experimental base was not ideal. Seaman Kwong and Beko were going to have to ride it rough for a while. Yes, no matter what, I have to be there. Butcher frowned. He did not ask further. Butcher was clear that Wang Jun recognized danger. Especially given how calm he was, it was clear that Wang Jun had thought through it. I'll think of something for the school side. Perhaps a test is being run on Tita Star. Have you settled things with Saruman's snake battle team? Many eyes are on you now. Butcher meant to say that Wang Jun's future was unlimited. As long as Saruman's snake battle team could maintain their results, many doors would open for them. The current lineup is not bad, but Tita Star's situation is more pressing. Oh what can I say? Youth is power, but you can't just let yourself go. Bring the Conqueror with you this time, Butcher said softly. Wang Jun was stunned. Really? Can I? With the Conqueror, Wang Jun's confidence was bolstered. You pest, you dare to go to all kinds of hell. The mech can be lent to you, but remember to return it. Otherwise, I'll step right in with you as well. Butcher smiled. Old Butcher, I might be involved in an international dispute this time around. If I use the runic mech, will I sully your reputation in the schools? Wang Jun suddenly thought of this question. You're just small fry, don't concern yourself with things like that. I'll naturally settle those things. You just come back alive. Butcher patted Wang Jun. Also, don't think you can hold everything. We old guys here aren't dead yet. Wang Jun nodded gratefully. To him, if he had the Conqueror, things would be completely different. Even against 1,000, he would kill them all. He had been worrying about how to ship the mech. Looking down at the space crystal he was holding, Wang Jun was starting to get a little nervous. F***CK. This was the legendary space crystal. Unbelievable. The pride of space technology, although quantity is strictly controlled, and they're destroyed routinely every 3 years. In the end, humanity is still willing to live with the inconvenience. Butcher smiled. Wang Jun naturally knew that this thing bent the rules of space. If there were too many, the space-time continuum would become unstable. Of course, the numbers and control today were completely different from that of the past. There was not much danger, but the Milky Way Alliance still controlled it very strictly. Only very few departments had it, and they could all be traced and destroyed. Butcher had really gone out on a limb to protect him. With this, Wang Jun had no more worries. The ship ticket had been booked by Ai Xiaolu. In this while, the answer from Ai Xiaolu had not been promising. Tita Star looked peaceful, but this was merely the calm before the storm. Wang Jun would never let Tyrant Su and the rest face it alone. That guy was really on a memorable honeymoon. Wang Jun had nothing to pack. Only, there was somebody he had to see no matter what before he left, he had promised. What? How could you go there? You can't, I won't let you, Wei Yan almost leapt up. Actually, after Wei Yan had received the news, she had been secretly keeping up with it. Perhaps Angela was laboring under the misconception that the princess was actually growing up, and beginning to take interest in international affairs. Wang Jun patted Wei Yan's head. You know I must go. I came to say farewell to you. Anna, I won't bother her. If I don't come back, please let the past disappear. At that moment, Wei Yan's large eyes were brimming with tears. Wang Jun smiled. Silly girl, don't cry. Look, I'm whole and in one piece, aren't I? And old butcher has given me the runic mech. If I can't fight, running will be no problem. I'm just making sure the worst case scenario is covered. Besides, don't you trust in my ability? Wei Yan rubbed her nose a few times. I don't care, you have to come back as soon as possible. I will. With such a cute princess waiting for me, I'll come back even if I have to crawl. You said it. Pinky promise, Wei Yan said. Okay, Pinky promise. Hooking Wei Yan's fair, little finger, seeing her serious expression, Wang Jun felt his heart warm. Wang Jun left with no second thought. Tita Star, here I come. If they wanted war, then war he would give them. Rather than a wretched existence, why not live on forever in blood? Returning to her place, Wei Yan was dispirited. Anna was reading a book. Seeing Wei Yan's countenance, she put the book down, asking with a smile, My dear sister, who has bullied you? Nobody bullied me. I just spoke with some classmates, and I'm angry enough to burst. Anna hugged Wei Yan and said, Oh, what is it that could anger our little princess? Let me hear it. Sis, recently all the international relations specialists are discussing the Tita Star situation. They said, that it's our Aslan behind the scenes. Is this true? Wei Yan asked. If it were not for the fact that her last escapade to the moon had cost her the control rights to her own princess ship, she would definitely be sneakily following Wang Jun there now. Anna was stunned, then answered calmly, Wei Yan, these are national matters. They're not what we need to concern ourselves with now. Then it's true, Wei Yan mumbled. Anna did not reply, enough proof that Aslan was at least involved in this. What was going on? In the end, it was the Aslan Empire. Her own country. How should she face this? What? Wang Jun, that punk, snuck off again. Does he even have a heart? He leaves me behind at the first opportunity. Zhang Shan was like an abandoned puppy. The rest did not know whether to laugh or cry. That's why Saruman's snake battle team is now captained by Achilles, and Lai Xin is the second. The second round of the Greatest King competition depends on everyone. TCH, such an important matter, and this guy actually bails. Where do they say he's gone off to this time? No idea, I heard it might be secret training. Ai Xiaolu laughed. Regardless, Saruman's snake battle team finally has some strong reinforcements. Everyone, welcome the sexy babe Lai Xin. They gave Lai Xin enthusiastic applause without hesitation. Lai Xin was definitely one of the hottest girls in school. And on the other side, Lear slammed his fist on the table, and beside him, Luo Fei shivered. You wretch, didn't I leave you to keep an eye on Lai Xin? Women can't be trusted. Boss, this is out of my hands. I couldn't do anything about them going to Gemini Star. Besides, our battle team has become stronger as well. We don't need Lai Xin, Fatty said. Dunderhead, do you think I miss Lai Xin? Wang Jun, that F***CKER, he's too unreasonable. Lear was incensed. Whether they could win or not was besides the point. Lear was conceited about his management and charisma. He had taken great pains to dig Lai Xin over to his side, and she had scurried off in the blink of an eye. What did this say about his leadership, especially when his battle team's results were not bad? Boss, cool yourself, cool yourself. I have good news. Fatty knew that 1,000 words at this point would not be as effective as good news. Oh, go on. Tita Star is in dire straits, and Wang Jun has rushed over. I heard that the Tita situation is very bad, and a few big countries have decided to divvy it up. Wang Jun will definitely be fed to the dogs this time. Fatty said. That ought to satisfy him. As expected, Lear was at least a little mollified. A portion of the intelligence network was now entrusted to Luo Fei to manage as Lear did not have so much energy. If Wang Jun did not return, then the world would be peaceful. Analyze the new lineup of Saruman's snake battle team. Snowli has left, and Wang Jun is not around. We'll probably meet them in the new competition season, and I'll teach them a harsh lesson. Boss, you are as wise as ever. What an opportunity to school Lai Xin. Following boss is the cleverest choice, Luo Fei said. Lear waved it off. He did not wish to hear Lai Xin's name. He hated women because they were fickle and did not commit. They would be forever finding some strange reason to change. It was better without Lai Xin. One more unstable factor eliminated. He was building a dynasty. Not long after Wang Zheng stepped off on his journey to Tita Star, Elite Academy X officially released the Greatest King competition's second round's rules and competitors. There were many changes in the major battle teams. 1 Saruman Snake Battle Team. This was the #1 battle team of the first season. A terrifying battle team, and the only one to maintain a record of straight wins. Although they were new, and had many problems in their lineup, with their teamwork and ability to adapt in crucial moments, they had reached the pinnacle in the end. Of course, in the new competition season, they would face stiff and formidable competition. The good news was, the new season's Saruman Snake Battle team was also fortified with Lai Xin and Ali as the star newcomers. Lai Xin went without saying. A solar system fighter with outstanding performance. Ali was an arbiter, but unfortunately, in the early days of the competition season, their original leader, the popular Wang Zheng, was on a mission and not competing. This would be an extreme test for them. At the same time, Snowly and Vincent, two of their main strengths, had left, called back to their national battle teams. It could be said that Saruman Snake Battle Team's goal in the new season was not to defend their title, but not to be eliminated. 2 Imperial Glory Battle Team. Aslan's brand name. They had endured through. There were great changes in the current season. Their leader, Hawkatelan, had left Elite Academy X. Hawkatelan was strong, no doubt. But his individual fall in the elite competition, as well as the miscalculation against a weaker opponent, these failures came at a price which he had to bear. No one had thought that the Aslan captain would be the first to disappear. And Aslan's new captain had emerged. He was a newcomer, freshman, from the Aslan Imperial College. Di Maria, Aurora's older cousin. An Aslan aristocrat, with a noble imperial bloodline. As for his abilities, that would be clear in battle. 3 Asura Battle Team. The Arbiters had taken hits in the last round, and allowed Saruman Snake Battle Team and Wang Zheng to shoot to glory after that battle. Of course, just as people suspected, Saruman Snake Battle Team's glory was short-lived and their expectations towards Asura Battle Team commensurably rose. After all, Asura Battle Team had only used half their power. Asura Battle Team's lineup was unchanged. They were still led by Martsu, with Olivius as the second. Only, they did not know if Martsu would take to the field in the second round. All the while, Martsu had been hailed as the strongest amongst students. His presence seemed like a bully, but as the other major battle teams grew stronger, the situation might change. 4 Dynasty Battle Team. This was the second battle team led by a solar system person. They were also a motley battle team, with mighty reinforcements. The Mayans supported them fully. This time around, they lacked one of their core fighters, Lai Xin. It was unclear how Lear was dealing with this. Rumors were that Dynasty Battle Team had found some new blood as well, although their skills would have to be tested. 5 Eagle Battle Team. Dendi's Battle Team. Manalasuo's performance in the first season had been average, but Dendi had displayed superb leadership and adaptability. His ability X had been brought to its full potential. But in terms of lineup, they needed help. Besides a few newcomers from the major military schools of Manalasuo, they had also successfully poached Vincent from Saruman Snake Battle Team, a strong attacker. Given Dendi's abilities, one could expect miracles to happen. 6 Star Leah Battle Team. A slipping battle team. Gemini Star and Leah Sphinx's collaboration battle team was still lacking in battle. But their leader, Tempest, had still won much glory. Against all odds, Tempest had led his battle team to 2 unexpected draws, one of which was snatched from the hands of Imperial Glory Battle Team. This had directly resulted in Hawkatelan's tragedy, crushed by his intellect. But in the new season, not a single leader would want to play second fiddle to Tempest. Under such circumstances, Star Leah Battle Team hoped to strengthen their lineup and better their performance. As their 2 countries were strong and old hands, they would have no worries in terms of talent. They had been strengthened by new talent, and expectations were high. 7. Dark Wolves Battle Team. Dark Wolves Battle Team's performance had been disappointing overall. Yang Pan had become the second leader to leave. Of course, Yang Pan was different from Hawkatelin in that he was preparing for graduation. That he could not leave with his head held high was a pity. Senior Yang Pan's personality was more easygoing, and he was more willing to wish others well. No matter what, Yang Pan could be looked to for more successes in the future. The new battle team leader, Sarts, from Darkness Empire, was also a newcomer. Overall, Dark Wolves battle team still needed to prove themselves in battle. 8. Ice Fire Battle Team. As the bottom battle team, besides having to improve in all aspects, they also needed some revolutionary changes. Estina and Hail Cloud Alliance would not be shamed. There were many changes in the battle team. Besides the return of Snowly, they had also attracted many newcomers. Jian Zihao was still the captain, but if he was still unable to perform, he would definitely be eliminated ruthlessly. Sometimes, the price of a second chance was even higher. The 8 battle teams were all equipped and waiting. The new season's rules were largely unchanged, but there was an additional challenge round, where other battle teams from the school or other countries' elite military schools could offer a challenge. This would increase the inter-school interaction, and also elevate Elite Academy X's influence in the Milky Way. This direction had been adopted from the start of the semester, to increase recognition in the Milky Way, and unite humanity regardless of country. Tita Star was as beautiful as ever. Just getting close, Wang Jung felt like he was back at his hometown. This was where he had once fought. Those forests, those hills, everything. No matter who it was that wanted to wrest away this place, he would resist. It was only 15 minutes to Tita Star, but because of the Jiro Federation and Diwang Alliance's lockdowns, there were layers of checks. The entire entering process required 6 hours. Spending so much time and space was a huge loss. The two countries were like two huge hands firmly clamped over Titan Star's throat. Wang Jung could hear the crowd's chatter. Some were daring tourists who had come to Tita Star to chase a dream. But as the attitude spread and took effect, Tita Star would, in the end, be left alone. Finally, Wang Jung reached Tita Star. The newly built airport was not very busy, and permeated with a mood of fear. Some of the newer immigrants were thinking of leaving. They were not like the locals who had no choice. If Tita Star broke out in war, then the average citizen's life would not be good, and it was not something that would recover readily. At the same time, if Tita Star eventually turned into a mining planet, then what quality of life would there be? Once a planet in the Milky Way Alliance was turned into a mining planet, it would automatically enter the uninhabitable living places blacklist. Wang Jung had told Mu Sen and Lan Ling beforehand not to send anybody to pick him up. He took the fast city line alone. Wang Jung could feel Tita Star's pulse. It was still busy, but the joy in the business had gone. This was no longer a fight between the Tita people and humans, but invasion. Only, the opponent was too strong. Just Jiro Federation or Diwang Alliance alone would have been more than Tita Star could stand up to. And Tita Star was unable to respond, because their space troops were too weak, and had no control at all. As for land troops, the Tita people were unafraid of war or death. The problem that worried Mu Sen and Lan Ling was that death would solve nothing. If this was not handled well, the Tita people would disappear from the face of history, perhaps relegated to museums for future generations. This was something that Mu Sen, as the chairman, had to consider. He firmly believed that humanity had the ability to eradicate Tita Star, and there were a myriad of ways. Wang Jung arrived at Lankao City. Mu Sen, Lan Ling, and Yan Xiaoshu were all there. Only, everyone was clearly plagued with worry. Even Yan Xiaoshu had lost weight. If we fight, Tita's braves will never back down, Rara Darai said solemnly. They were not afraid of war. Mu Sen gave a bitter laugh. The thinking of giants and the intellectuals was forever different. This war had to be avoided if there was a choice. Regardless of space or land war, the Tita people would not come out of this ahead. Although the Tita giants were all fighters, and their giant suits of armor were powerful, in reality, the more Mu Sen understood the human world, the more he found it futile to resist. If there had to be war, it would be a last resort. Things are not at that stage yet. Wang Jung's almost here. He will definitely find a way, Lan Ling said. That guy was really infuriating. The fire was already singeing their eyebrows, and he was taking his time. Highness, Ada is here. From outside, Shan Meng's bellows could be heard. This guy's lung power was ridiculous. Wang Jung walked in with a smile. Shan Meng, you need to lower your volume. The room almost collapsed. Oh you, the elder is worried to a state, and you have the mood to laugh. Lan Ling seemed to have found the support she needed. Wang Jun hugged everyone. Lan Ling, long time no see. You've grown more beautiful. Lan Ling could not help herself. What will I do with you? Shan Meng, stay outside and make sure no one disturbs us, Mu Sen said. Yes, elder. Shan Meng happily went out. The giants were not troubled or worried. Whether war or death, they would face it with courage. Theirs was a simple world. Elder Mu Sen, I understand the general situation. Please elaborate, Wang Jung said. He knew that no one was really relieved, but he needed to preserve the smile and composure, because it would give them confidence, even if he had none. The Jiro Federation and the Dewing Alliance must have some superpower pulling strings behind them. From what we know, Aslan and Arbiter are involved. Of course, they will not intervene directly, but it will be difficult to enlist the support of the Milky Way Alliance, Mu Sen said. Wang Jun nodded. These things were hard to prove. Lan Ling, what are their conditions? Lan Ling gave a bitter laugh. After a few rounds of negotiations, the situation has stabilized temporarily. They are not concerned with the land rights of Tita Star, but the supergravity energy ore mines. They want to cash in on the benefits and turn Tita Star into a mining planet. Of course, we have to give them privileged migration benefits. Wang Jun laughed, and Mu Sen did too. Clearly everyone understood that they were here to stay. Even if they agreed, they would not stop there. Human avarice knew no bounds. They would not honor their agreement. Are their methods so far limited to sealing off? Exactly so. The Alliance Council still has some threat. They have no reason to start the war at present. An economic lockdown is the best method. Under their pressure, Tita Star's development needs will fail, Lan Ling said. If that's the case, then we Tita people are unafraid. Even if we maintain our primitive state, we still live very freely, Mu Sen said. An economic lockdown would be fatal to a star that wanted to grow, but Tita Star was mostly populated by Tita people. Even if many Tita people had flocked to the city to take part in building, they still depended on nature. A new life was novel, but something they could do without. Economic lockdown is just the first step. To us, it is just time bought. If we do not cooperate, the next step will be violence. Lan Ling said. For the opponents to have postured so aggressively, they would not just back down without a fight. Wang Jun nodded. Internationally, we need aid. Depending on the solar system alone is not enough. At present, we should hope for Hail Cloud Alliance's support. If Hail Cloud Alliance flexes its strength, the results might be a bit more favorable. Besides that, much counts on the attitude of the Alliance Council chairman. From the Council's standpoint, they are unwilling to see a large country gain so much power. The problem remains in the time of intervention, and what we offer. We can't rule out that they might give us aid when we need it most. And crucial aid in the key moments is the best-case scenario. Given that the two empires possess huge influence in the alliance, is that viable? Lan Ling and the rest had already given up hope on the alliance. It's worth a shot. But the alliance headquarters will definitely not send troops. Which is why we must still depend on ourselves. How is the Tita Star military power? Our space troops have not much to speak of. All they can do is maintain the order in the spaceport, and we must completely depend on ground troops, Lan Ling said worriedly. In planetary battles to date, space control was undoubtedly the most important. If they lost space control, then they would be sitting ducks. Boss, our armament factories are already at full production. The present situation is not looking good. We must make preparations for war. Even if we lose space control, I think they might not use space weaponry. This is a dispute, and if they take direct action, I think the alliance will not turn a blind eye. It is tantamount to a complete trashing of the entire galaxy's cooperation contract. And the two countries will be unable to deal thereafter. Yan Xiaoshu said. The Tyrant Su now was not the Tyrant Su of the past. I've also sent Jasper and the rest to see what aid they can secure. At present, it seems useless. As long as they don't commence hostilities, in the end it's just a dispute. Wang Jung nodded. The situation was basically clear now. Jiro and Diweng were using economic pressure to force Tita's cooperation, but in truth, Tita Star did not care about this. They could live, backward as they were. The Tita people were not avaricious, but it was merely an excuse to turn to war. In that case, then the chance for Tita's counter had come. As long as they could repel the attack, and turn the fight into a stalemate, then the alliance could not turn a blind eye, or risk the rules of the Milky Way crumbling. On this, everyone was clear. It depended on who could hold out, and who was stronger. Of course, if they had no control over space, then they could be attacked at any time. In order to buy time for preparation, Mu Sen and Lan Ling had opened round after round of negotiations. But how much time they could buy was not easy to say. They were not dealing with fools. Once they were busted, the opponent would speed up their process. Wang Jung was not a god. This was all he could do. His judgment was basically the same as everyone else's. Tita had best prepare for war. Heaven had already risen to become the military instructor of the Tita army. He was in charge of the elite troops and the Tita giants. When they met, his smile absolved all enmity. To Heaven, he had already fallen in love with this planet. A wanderer, he had always longed for a home, something to root him. Here, he had found what he wanted, respect and a family. Heaven had married a girl from Tita. He had fallen in love with everything here, and put down roots. This place was filled with happiness and opportunity. He had learned much from his days at Elite Academy in the underworld. It could be said that the appearance of a pro like Heaven did not mean much in itself, but what he imparted directly raised the elite's level. Very few people of such standard would be willing to work such jobs. A place like Elite Academy was something only the Alliance could do. You punk, you haven't been gone for that long, and you're already stronger, Heaven laughed. You got it. Some modest improvements. How is our main force's strength? Wang Jung asked. This was something that he could not ask Lan Ling. Only Heaven could answer. Heaven was, after all, someone who had seen the big picture before. He was not as prone to worry like the rest. He smiled slightly. Only defeat lies at the end of a head-on fight. Although Diweng and Jiro are not big, their military is not small. Plus, other countries are supporting them behind the scenes. Our Tita Star can't hold out. We can't fight a battle on enthusiasm alone. Hit and run. If we lose space control, how far can we run? Heaven asked. We can't avoid having to fight a few clashes. The Tita giants have rare bravery, and their current armor is not bad. If we can deal a solid blow to the enemy, the situation might be prolonged, Heaven said. If I were the enemy, in order not to let tongues wag, I would use special forces, Wang Jung said. Heaven nodded assent. Normal troops, assembled through airdrops, were not viable. Among all the regional scuffles, they operated by letting the pirates take control of space, and then airdropping special forces into key targets. Once the command network was torn asunder, the battle would be over. All that remained would be to wrangle with the alliance, and then rebuild with their own people in charge. All objectives would be met, and peacekeeping forces would not matter. Tita Star should be proud. They had actually attracted Arbiter and Aslan, two big empires, to ally over them. This news meant that everyone besides the superpowers would not dare to even interfere, or risk turning into food themselves. Wang Jung suddenly thought of Kashawin. The first time he laid eyes on that iron woman, he knew her heart was steel. She was cold and emotionless, and he knew she was not easily finished. But he had not thought that it would take this long. Perhaps these political types were the real snakes. Thinking of his own runic mech, Wang Jung knew that it did not mean much, but was better than wishes for a lost battle. Heaven clapped Wang Jung on the shoulder. This is Tita Star's chance to be reborn from the flames. Every superpower rose from such experiences. I don't see this as a disaster, but rather a cleansing. The Tita people have always pursued freedom. At the same time, they understand gratitude and friendship. Such planets must survive in the universe. We will prevail. If Wang Jung's confidence came from a lack of fear, then Heaven's smile was stoic, facing life and death. Senior, thank you. Haha, it's me that should be thanking you. Oh, my wife is pregnant. I hope it's a boy, although I don't know if he will look more like a human or a Tita person. Speaking of his children, Heaven's smile grew. The Heaven of the past had disappeared. Do you have a girlfriend yet? Kiki, can we not talk about this? Haha, you're too reserved. One must enjoy their life. When I was your age, I was a lady killer. There are so many babes at Elite Academy. If you're free, you should bring a few back, Heaven said, smiling. This was someone who had seen a lot. This attitude was indomitable. In comparison, Lan Ling and Yan Xiaoshu were not sleeping well. On the field were two formations. On one side were the Tita giants, on the other, the mecha warriors. But the human mecha were few in number. On Tita Star, the main force was still comprised of giants. The mecha were mainly used to maintain order in the city. If there was a war, the Tita giants would be the main force. Looking at the scene of training, Wang Zheng's blood heated up. It was clear that Heaven's threat level assessment was very high. It was to be expected. If an Earth rank expert could not restrain them, then the Tita people's fighting abilities were uncommon indeed. The breathing technique that you had Rara Durai impart is very unique. It has hastened the battle abilities of the Tita giants very quickly. It's said that solar system people are good at cultivation techniques. The rumor bears true, Heaven said. Who is the strongest among the giants now? Wang Zheng asked. If Rara Durai uses Titan strength, he's still the strongest. It is really quite amazing. All I can say is that the universe holds many marvels. If it's normal fights, it should be Mu Gen. Heaven chuckled. That giant is special, very special. He's a mixed blood, but a rare heir of the giant's characteristics. What do you mean? Looks like I'm the expert now. When humans and Tita people marry and have children, the differences are not too remarkable if it's a girl. But if it's a boy, they mostly take on the human genes. Mu Gen is a rare inheritor of the giant genes. But the boy is very perceptive. I think if the opportunity presents itself, you should bring him out to see the world. Call him over for a look. Wang Zheng was feeling a little curious. Mu Gen, Heaven bellowed. From the giant formation, one walked over. Yes, sir, a giant strode forward. Wang Zheng eyed the giant in front of him. The giant's eyes were bright, looking curiously at Wang Zheng. They were full of passion. This was a very young giant. Mu Gen, do you know who he is? The young person was clearly a little anxious from being unusually excited, and nodded. Esteemed Ada, please allow me to greet you. Wang Zheng smiled and nodded. The giants around them displayed deep looks of envy. But the prolonged training meant that the squad's order was very good. Here, Heaven, who had given up on his wanderings, had revived the military soul in him. Mu Gen prostrated on the ground. This was the highest form of honor. On Tita Star, the number of people who were accorded such honor could be counted on one hand. And among humans, only Wang Zheng was worthy of such reception. Wang Zheng rubbed the crown of Mu Gen's head. This was a blessing, and the giants were even more envious. In their eyes, Wang Zheng was not a human, but the embodiment of a sage, albeit a slightly taller one. The heir of Titan, the savior of Tita Star, and the imparter of marvelous martial arts. All of this was something only an angel could do. Mu Gen, what is your relationship with Mu Sen? Wang Zheng suddenly asked. Actually, he did not know how Tita people were named. The chairman is my maternal grandfather, Mu Gen respectfully said. Instructor Heaven says your performance is good, and asks me to test your abilities, Wang Zheng said. Mu Gen was a little hesitant, as though reluctant to lay a hand on Ada. Heaven laughed. Do your best. Have you forgotten who he is? Mu Gen gave a simple smile, scratching his head abashedly. That was true. How could Ada not defeat him? Heaven clapped his hands to signal a pause in the training. From the moment of Wang Zheng's arrival, everyone had been distracted. The giants were reverent, and the humans were curious. They did not believe in myths, but it seemed like this young man held a special position on Tita Star. Of course, they wondered what the origin of that was. And Heaven had a reputation here. After all, he was Earth rank. Wang Zheng looked at Mu Gen. Mu Gen was very serious. The moment battle commenced, things like status were put aside. An all-out battle was the giant's approach, and this was a form of respect. Mu Gen took a deep breath. An imposing manner, towering like a mountain, exuded from him, and Wang Jung was taken aback. This comprehension was uncommon. Utilizing the aura was humanity's forte. Mu Gen rushed over in large strides, suddenly sweeping out violently with a leg. The giant's physique, combined with this surge of power, unleashed a bone-breaking blow. Lan Ling had materialized beside heaven. He still loves to fool around. A leader in battle needs to prove himself. Reputation alone will not do. Wang Jung needs to display his power in front of everyone. Once the battle begins, I think this will be of crucial importance. Why Mu Gen? Because Mu Gen is the strongest. In truth, he has the talent of the giants, and also the comprehension of humankind. If groomed well, and sent to see the world, he will do great things, Heaven said. But giants are not necessarily suited to the outside environment. There had to be someone who first decided to eat a crab. Life is a test. Let's see what improvements Wang Jung has made in this period of time. Heaven smiled. He had basically hit a bottleneck. This could not be helped. Age and experience shackled him, and talent too was an issue. In truth, his talent was considerable for him to have achieved what he had. But seeing Wang Jung, he felt like the wave was about to sweep him up and crash him on the shore. In fact, it already had once. Mu Gen flew about the field, fists and feet combined smoothly. His bold attacks executed connections with finesse. Wang Jung could feel that this was definitely some awakening, because a majority of the giants could not do it. They were habitually completely offensive, and had no comprehension of subtleties. This could not be helped. After all, their strength was too great. But after regulating it through the martial arts, they had made progress. Mu Gen felt confused as well. His punches were clearly aimed square, but they were always off position and missed by a little. The target sense that he had come to trust deeply had vanished. Boom! Mu Gen's punch missed. With a roaring sound, Wang Jung rose up into the air, unleashing a kick midair. An opening? Suddenly, a huge hand slapped out. Wang Jung was stunned. This guy knew this move as well? Primordial regression technique came forth. With a deep breath, a whip kick slashed out. Boom! Mu Gen felt a huge wave of energy roil towards him. His whole body was thrown, and his arm went numb. But this had triggered Mu Gen's innate giant aggression. In human terms, it was on. With a turn, he immediately unleashed another kick. The giants had inexhaustible strength, conviction and perseverance. Combination moves flew out, and the ground shook. Just as Heaven had said, he indeed had talent, but ultimately, he could not shake off the giant's way of thinking. He used his body more than his brain. The mech pilot spectators were already shell-shocked. Besides Heaven, this was the first time they had seen a human fight a giant without a mech. He was really crazy. This boy had talent, but he needed to learn composure. With a loud bellow, Mu Gen's fist penetrated through the rock and continued through, an unreserved blow. But Wang Jung did not lose his footing at all. Such an attack was very dangerous in battle. The body that the giants were so proud of were still flesh when faced with a beam saber. Wang Jung extended a hand. Boom! This blow connected square. Mu Gen felt his prodigious strength fizzle against what felt like a metal board. The ground shook. Wang Jung could not help it. This strength was indeed considerable, but Mu Gen still needed to work on channeling it. Mu Gen was about to continue attacking when he suddenly felt a chill come over him, and the ground started to freeze over. In an instant, his body had rigidified, and his colossal body folded over limply. Wang Jung walked in front of Mu Gen. The breathing technique I imparted is not to increase your strength, but to help you control it, and resist other forms of attack. Mu Gen was in a daze. He began to execute the breathing technique, and the frost on his body began to vanish. He stood up slowly. Thank you, Ada, for the instruction. Run along. You must be a model for your brothers. During a fight, you must be aware of your team. Use your head. Bravery alone won't work. Understood. It had to be said that Wang Jung had no words to express the strength of the giants. Given his current grasp on Frost Ability X, being fine in a flash was unbelievable. Heaven was even more shocked. Frost Ability X was weaker on this planet. Under such conditions, Wang Jung could still use it to that extent. Could he already have entered Earth rank? Lan Ling laughed and clapped. Good moves. You haven't been slacking. Let me bring you to see something nice. Wang Jun dusted himself off. What is this mysterious thing? You'll know when you see it, it's our trump card. Wang Jun followed Lan Ling onto the military car, which drove for a while. The destination seemed to be a warehouse, but its height was indeed awe-inspiring. What's inside? Your guess, Lan Ling replied. Although Tita Star was currently in a bad spot, ever since Wang Jun came, she had smiled more than before, and no longer had nightmares when she slept. When it was revealed, Wang Jun was flooded with pleasant surprise. This. A giant mech, a mecha specially designed for the Tita people. What do you think? Lan Ling smiled. Between the two, a cavernous warehouse, and both levels completely filled with huge mecha fighters. When did you make it? Gazing at the huge mech, Wang Jun was caught completely off guard. Lan Ling was like a little girl receiving praise. She gave a delighted smile. You think we're just lazing around all day? An economic development needs a commensurate amount of military backing. It's true that space troops are not easily built up, which is why we focused our energies on this. Currently, we have 100 of these, as a secret weapon. This design was also bought at top dollar. Of course, this was not OMG's technology. In order to increase the Tita military power, especially the ground forces, Mu Sen and Lan Ling had also done their best. Armor was easy to manufacture, but the battle power was limited. And this giant mech would definitely be a useful tool in ground battles, in unforeseen ways. Wang Jun nodded. Looking at it from the overall strategic perspective, they could only delay the opponent in ground battles, and then use their allies' influence to raise protests. The solar system would definitely raise a clamor, and they could only hope that the Hail Cloud Alliance and the Alliance chairman would follow suit. As for Jasper's side, they would have to depend on their luck. After all, such international plans were completely dependent on the costs and benefits. But as for Tita Star, first they had to be able to hold off the opponent. This batch of heavy mecha should pack a solid blow against the invaders. How are their battle capabilities? Wang Jun was very concerned about this. Size was unimportant in battle. Ordinary human constitutions cannot operate these mecha, but the giants can wield them with ease. But they're not very suited to complex controls, which is why besides coverage-type attacks, the important thing is thick and ample defense, so they can be the point attack. Heaven says that a trained mech giant can demolish an entire special forces squad, Lan Ling said proudly. But Wang Jun shook his head slightly. He was no longer a fresh-faced lad. Such mecha were indeed unexpected, but how they fared would eventually depend on the enemy's formation. Wang Jun, we have already made preparations in case of failure, but regardless of outcome, we will fight to the last. Lan Ling's face shone with resolution. This girl, who had once fled from her responsibilities, was maturing. She was learning to shoulder responsibility. Perhaps it was Wang Jun's arrival that had made her impervious to fear. In truth, Wang Jun was no stranger to war, but none of his experiences had been quite like this. His concerns were closely entangled within. In the past, whether attacker or defender, he was not too personally vested. At this moment, Lan Ling's Skylink rang urgently, an emergency. Far away on Earth's Beijing, Victorious Return Hotel. Xiao Fei had recently been worrying about the Tita Star situation as well, although she was now the military school principal, and had exerted herself on occasion. Only when one met with such momentous matters did one truly feel weak and powerless. Besides, her concerns were now elsewhere. Oh Fei Fei, don't worry about these things. Girls should be cuter. You must be polite, it's your old classmate, and the startup company has just entered the market. In terms of ability and intellect, he's not bad at all. A worthy object for your consideration. Beside Xiao Fei was her mother, Lady Yang Qinlan. She had worried her heart sick over her daughter. She was on the web daily, searching for the most eligible bachelor for her illustrious daughter. Xiao Fei eyed her mother. What a headache. She would rather drown in official announcements than be a puppet to her mother's whims. She was not the 8-year-old little girl waving her sparkler around like a magic wand. Magic was a childish fancy, violations of basic scientific knowledge. Dad, please come and control your wife. Xiao Fei quietly sent her father a plea for help. Oh Fei Fei, it's not like you don't know who contributes the most to this family. It's so rare that your mother has let me off today, can't you let me be? How much has Papa fended off for you for all these years? Today, let Papa enjoy his day off. Besides, in terms of finding a husband, I'm behind your mother on this. Her father's response had been quick as an arrow, only the contents were not what Xiao Fei was hoping to see. As her parents, they were not at all concerned about international affairs. Their primary care was their daughter's future. A pity that Wang Zheng was not around to see this scene, or he would know that the witch Xiao Fei also had enemies. Clearly, Xiao Fei's witch-like characteristics were inherited from her mother's real powers, a fabled and legendary strength. Stop texting your father. The guest is here already, and you're still on your rump? Stand up, and smile. The cute way that I thought you all these years. Don't you dare say you need me to teach you again. Your only mission this year is to get yourself married off. Yang Qinlan flicked her finger. At the crook of her daughter's finger, she immediately knew what was going on. Xiao Fei had a sudden urge to run and hide, but at the last moment, she still stood courteously, donning a smile that showed no teeth. Her eyes crinkled and her lip lifted just so. She was the perfect picture of cute. At this moment, the doors opened, and a handsome young man walked in. He immediately smiled when he saw them, and quickened his pace over. "Aunt, Xiao Fei, I'm sorry I'm late." A courteous, proper impression. Yang Qinlan gave an approving nod. "It says that we're early. You're Fei Fei's old classmate, so you should know she's a rebellious shrew. I encourage you to tame her." "Mom," Xiao Fei wanted to wail. Who even sold their daughter like this? Was she even her real mother? She wasn't a phone top-up freebie? "You two chat, I'm off to the salon." Yang Qinlan gave her daughter a warning look. She had better maintain the cute look. What a suitable suitor, was he easy to find, and also an old classmate who knew her. In truth, Xiao Fei's successes were already enough in her parents' eyes. As a woman, starting a family was her natural job. She need not work so hard, scientific research could continue after marriage. After seeing the intimidating Lady Yang leave, Kong Bin smiled and sat down. "Xiao Fei. Save it." After the old woman had left, Xiao Fei reverted from the damsel to the witch. "Kay, after so many years, won't you give me a chance?" Kong Bin had been infected by Xiao Fei's mood, and was irritated. From elementary school till high school, the two had been classmates, until Xiao Fei had left Earth for college. It could be said that Kong Bin had started chasing Xiao Fei from middle school. But each time he confessed, he was rejected harshly by Xiao Fei. After being separated for so many years, he had carved his own modest success. His fire for Xiao Fei had rekindled when they met at the last school reunion. This time was different because he had his future mother-in-law's support. But from the way today was going, it seemed hopeless. He lost every battle he fought. Xiao Fei let her hair down and bunched it up. From a demure girl, she reverted to her queen-like state. The way she held herself was clear that there was no chance to be had. Kong Bin gave a bitter laugh. What should I tell Aunt later? The moment her mother was mentioned, Xiao Fei winced. Jinxes were jinxes. You will say that we interacted. And be careful of your tone and expressions, or she will tumble to us. Honestly, I'm not cut out for marriage. Considering the family, looking after the kids, dealing with a husband, just thinking about it stifles me. You should know me, I'm not suited for that life. Kong Bin sighed. He knew all this. Only, after receiving Xiao Fei's mother's favor, and being invited to court Xiao Fei, he had held a sliver of hope. Will you remain unmarried forever? Have you never met someone to your liking in all these years? Kong Bin was disbelieving. Xiao Fei's eyes softened for a moment, but Kong Bin did not catch it. Just let me say one more thing. If we get married, I won't interfere with your life. You can still continue enjoying your work. Xiao Fei gave Kong Bin a half smile. Oh, and what do you plan to do with Little Star and Little Moon in your treasure house? Kong Bin's mouth fell open. Suddenly, the principal of Aries College did not seem so average. It was as though Xiao Fei had prepared beforehand, and was just waiting. Ah, who asked him to be a normal man? Kong Bin sighed. Just as he was about to explain his Little Star and Little Moon, he suddenly saw someone walk over, and his face straightened up. That's right, I came over today because of something else as well. At this point, Kong Bin stood up, and bowed slightly to the person approaching. Xiao Fei was startled and turned as she stood up. She saw a friendly old man who was eyeing her enthusiastically. This is Xiao Fei, let me introduce you. This is my most important client, he. Old merchant cut Kong Bin off with a wave. Kong Bin immediately backed down. You're even more than the rumors make you out to be. The real-life Professor Xiao Fei is even more beautiful than the magazines. Thank you. Xiao Fei's expression is mild. She was not about to soften just because the other person was a peaceable old man. Instead, she was alert and waiting to hear his intent. Clearly, his introduction through Kong Bin was an announcement of his power, and not just because she had made the cover of a magazine. Professor Xiao Fei, how do you see the parallel qualities of multidimensional space? The old man shot a question that would completely tear down all of Xiao Fei's defenses. Xiao Fei's instincts were alerted. Who are you? The old man smiled. I'm here to discuss how the Tita Star situation can be solved.